Hi everyone, I'm New England Regional Weather Service forecaster Eric Wegler's here, showing you the latest on Tropical Storm Dorian and what's left of him as he moves west-northwest across the Atlantic. And again, not really too much to him right now. Definitely more impressive yesterday as we were taking a look at the latest satellite and model runs. But this is what we have right now at the 11 a.m. advisory put up by the National Hurricane Center. We have maximum sustained winds around 50 miles per hour, movement towards the west-northwest at 21 miles per hour. So Dorian's moving pretty quickly across the Atlantic. As you can tell, we're not really going to see any increased hurricane strength here as it moves towards the west-northwest. Some islands and island chains that are in risk of feeling impacts from Dorian include Puerto Rico by 8 a.m. Monday, according to the NHC, the Hispaniola chain, Hispaniola Island, that includes Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And then as we move on towards the Bahamas and Cuba by Wednesday, and then our attention turns towards the southern United States, southeastern United States, towards Florida and Georgia potentially. Still a lot of time left in the model runs, and we'll see how Dorian pans out and if it keeps its act together here. We'll show you the latest water vapor imagery and show you some of the problems Dorian's been having here. For one, it's really lost its organization here. You can tell that instead of a circulation, a tight spiral that you might see on satellite and radar, you have a nice crescent shape right here forming on the outside to the west-northwest here. This is what we see starting to look like a tropical wave. Instead of that, again, tight circulation that you would have in tropical storms and hurricanes, you have more of a crescent, a bowing out, a disorganization of the system, and again, you see that crescent, almost that wave shape, so we'll be watching that closely. It's a lot of drier air here. You see these browns and these blacks. This drier air is feeding in towards the system, wrapping around what's left of the circulation and starting to get into that the main part of the system. You see some of the convection is starting to die off here, and the drier air has been really cutting off Dorian's energy that it's been gaining. So the moisture and all of its energy from the southern part here, just beyond the satellite imagery, is what's been feeding Dorian over the last 3 or so days. And with this drier air starting to wrap into the system, no more energy has been able to get to it. So not really good in terms of formation here. We'll send you back one here. We'll look at some other satellite imagery that we do have to show you, again, that convection that has been dying off here. Do notice that you have some of those darker reds here, and it suddenly has died off come towards the morning hours. We do have a little bit of a mid-level circulation on the western part here, right in that area, as we loop it again here, right into that western area, and it is exposed, so it's starting to take in some of that drier air and some of that shear that's really starting to hamper down Dorian. It's been exposed for the last, I'd say, 8 to 10 hours as it's been moving towards the west-northwest, and again, you see that wave distinction, not even on, not only on water vapor, you can see it on other satellite modes that we have here, almost that wave that's starting to form here. We'll look at some other things that are starting to hamper Dorian. We figured that the high-pressure system, you see right here, a huge high in the Atlantic, just spinning and churning and staying there, was going to weaken a little bit on the southwestern side, and we would have Dorian begin to move towards the northwest and exploit that weakness. However, the high-pressure system hasn't moved, and it hasn't lost its strength. So that's really caused Dorian to fight and to lose quite a battle here as it continues to move towards the west-northwest. We do notice a lot of westerly shear too that's beginning to eat into that western flank of Dorian, and that's why we've had in part that exposed center of circulation. Water temperatures aren't too bad. We're still looking at temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Check out some of the METARs out and sea surface buoys and observations that we have here. We're looking at 82 for the most part, just to the west of Dorian. So water temperature is not a huge concern. It's more the giant system of high pressure sitting out in the Atlantic and more of that westerly shear that's beginning to take its toll on Dorian's life. Otherwise, across the United States, you do see we have a low pressure system just off there that's beginning to work its way towards the high as well. Let's show you the latest forecast models that will be projected from Dorian here, and you notice we do see more of a westerly track as that high continues to push down and not weaken as we had once thought. The only other models right now that really want to take it and think strongly otherwise is CLIP and the CLIP model here, but we're almost confident that's not going to be the case. The official track does take it again along that west-northwesterly leisurely roll here towards, again, the Bahamas, Cuba, the Hispaniola, and Puerto Rico. And then after that, we start to have a little bit of divergence as to where this wants to go. So some models want to take it back towards the northeast part, and move it a little bit more towards a northwesterly track on into parts of Florida and the Bahamas, which we'll be watching that closely. And other models want to take this more towards the westerly track into the Gulf of Mexico and away from this high pressure system, both of which we'll be watching on closely. We'll show you the GFS ensemble runs here, and again, this is where we do see that split in the track. We do see some of those runs begin to move towards a more northwesterly track and then more towards the westerly track into the Gulf Stream, into the Gulf of Mexico, where it can actually pick up some energy from the much warmer waters there. The GFS run that the AEM and the official GFS ensemble tracks did take was AP17 here, if you notice right there, and you can actually follow that track if you have good eyes at this, back off into the east here. So it starts off, Dorian moves along, misses Puerto Rico and the Hispaniolas, and moves right near Cuba, and makes that turn towards the northeast, that turn a little bit more as we move on into the model runs. However, this is still a long ways out. There's still a lot of things to go through here. We'll show you the intensity forecast, because this is going to be huge as Dorian does progress. Will it stay together as a tropical storm, or will it eventually die out to a degenerate tropical wave? Right now, the official thinking is while Dorian is encountering the westerly shear and this high pressure system, it's still moving along at a pretty good pace, and the water temperatures are still warm enough for Dorian not to gain energy, but not to lose energy as well. So we'll be watching that pretty closely. Ship's intensity, which we also use closely to try and determine what the intensity will be. It's a good statistical model we use also in general thinking along with the official NHC forecast. However, most of the GFS runs, as well as the GFDL, Geofluid Dynamics Laboratory model, tend to take this system down and degenerate into a tropical wave. Both scenarios are very likely. It will depend as we go on over the next couple of hours what Dorian does. If we have any renewed convection, whether the westerly shear dies off, maybe you can find a little bit of a weakness within that ridge out in the Atlantic. All of these will be key things to look at as we go on through the afternoon. We will have more updates for you as conditions warrant. I'm Eric Oglass. Have a great afternoon.